jungle. A very good afternoon and welcome to Younib TV News at 1. I'm Jesicah Adiang. Now, the Global Peace Leadership Conference, GPLC, has cancelled its highly anticipated opening ceremony in response to the recent violence and unrest in Kenya. The decision comes after the chaotic events at Parliament, which resulted in the tragic loss of lives and numerous injuries. In a statement released today, the GPLC expressed deep sorrow over the current situation in Kenya, emphasizing their commitment to mourning the deceased and supporting the recovery of those injured.
In light of the events that went on yesterday, not to go ahead with the official opening ceremony. So the position is that the official opening ceremony, which was supposed to be addressed by His Excellency the President and other leaders, will not go on, because as you know, we have had, even on social media, some of those protesters were saying they will occupy Radisson Blu, So we don't want to be a scapegoat, for anything that may happen. So as a peace organization, we take seriously matters to do with peace, and we want to give opportunity for the Kenyan people, for the government and the Kenyan people to be able to calm down the situation. As you know, we have hundreds of delegates who have come, from all over the, continent and all over the world. They're here. But, for the protesters who have been saying that they will occupy here, so we decided that, we would rather not go ahead with the official opening ceremony, and we proceed with the other discussions. The other tracks, the other sessions will go on as planned. But what we are not having is the official opening ceremony, which His Excellency the President and other leaders who are supposed to address.
As the events of Tuesday staggered to a close, Kenyans stayed glued to their screens in anticipation of the heads of state's address. President William Ruto's subsequent speech has ignited fury across Kenya, following a day that left over 10 youth dead at the hands of police. The above-mentioned speech failed to acknowledge the loss of life or address the accusations of police brutality during what began as a largely peaceful demonstration.
Today, Kenya experienced an unprecedented attack on its democracy, rule of law, and the integrity of its constitutional institutions. An otherwise legitimate expression of the fundamental rights and freedoms of assembly, demonstration, picketing, and petitioning of public authorities by a section of law-abiding citizens of the Republic of Kenya was infiltrated and hijacked by a group of organized criminals. Most regrettably, today's attack on Kenya's constitutional order has resulted in the loss of lives, also destruction of property and desecration of institutions and emblems of our sovereignty. Today's events mark a critical turning point on how we respond to grave threats to our national security. I assure the nation that the government has mobilized all resources at the nation's disposal to ensure that a situation of this nature will not recur again at whatever cost.
Now, the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops has condemned police brutality witnessed in the ongoing anti-finance bill protest that were rocked in most parts of the country. The church leaders, speaking on Tuesday evening shortly after obscure scenes witnessed in most government premises and looting in supermarkets, condemned the actions taken by the police to use stray and live bullets at protesters.
We understand, therefore, why the Gen Zs have taken to the streets to express their displeasure to the government. The young generation is alive to the negative impact punitive taxes have in their own lives. The government needs to face the plain truth that families are immensely suffering. Young people have reached a point of taking it upon themselves to express discontent with the insensitivity of the government to these unwarranted taxes that only raise higher the cost of living. The government must listen to the pain of its citizens caused by the high cost of living. Ignoring them will only escalate tensions in the country and draw young people and citizenry into despair. We plead with the President that he listens to the voices of so many and respond concretely to the current situation triggered by the proposed finance bill.
We, the Catholic bishops, while appreciating on several occasions the police have tried to act rightly on criminals who implant themselves in peaceful protests to create chaos and rob or destroy property. As a country, we have seen demonstrations and protests in the past. We know that police should ensure peaceful assemblies of any kind and not fuel violence and public hate towards the same police that are supposed to protect them.
Now moving on, as the country erupted in anger after the passage of the controversial Finance Bill 2024, a number of MPs who supported it suffered heavy losses after their homes and properties were attacked and vandalized. The National Government Constituency Development Fund (NGCDF) offices of some targeted MPs were razed down as demonstrators, who were mainly the youth, protested the passage of the bill, which was voted by 196 MPs against 105, even as 3 votes became spoiled. Now we are going to take a short break. Stay tuned for more updates.
Je, wewe ni mfanyabiashara katika sekta ya elimu, afya bora, usafiri ama unamiliki kampuni yoyote ile? Ungependa kupata fursa ya kutangaza biashara yako ili kuwafikia wateja zaidi? Usikonde. Runinga ya Younib inakupa fursa ya kupeperusha matangazo kuhusu bidhaa na huduma unazotoa kwa bei nafuu. Kwa maelezo zaidi, wasiliana nasi kupitia nambari za simu 0750344700 ama kupitia barua pepe marketing@younibtv.com. Jinyakulie leo. Younib TV, ever the best.
Now, welcome back. Thousands of protesters stormed Kenya's parliament Tuesday to protest tax proposals, burning part of the building, sending lawmakers fleeing and drawing fire from the police in an unrest that the president vowed to squash. Several people were killed. It was the most direct assault on the government in decades. Journalists saw at least 3 bodies outside the complex where police had opened fire, and medic workers reported 5 people killed. Clashes spread to other cities. There was no immediate word on arrest.
Na mapeo huko ndani sasa hivi ameingia na 20 kwa hapa tunalala huku na 20 we don't fear you guys.
Now moving on to the counties, non-permanent contract workers, commonly known as casual workers at public hospitals in Bungoma County, have staged a protest at Governor Lusaka's office to complain about the delayed payments. These workers, including doctors, nurses, and laboratory technicians, claim they have not been paid for 7 months and are demanding that the county government address the issue or they will not return to work.
Si hapa peke yake kumekuwa na maandamano. Kapsakwenyi wamekuwa na maandamano, Cheptais wamekuwa na maandamano. Siku mbili zimepita, kamati ya ugatuzi tumekuwa hapa tukauliza haya maswali. Sasa leo Mungu alipanga niwe hapa nijionee yanayojiri. Serikali imekubali, wako hapa, kwamba pesa zipo, wanaandaa walipwe malimbikizi yao yote ya miezi 7. Wao wamesema vile vile watapewa kandarasi ya mwaka moja wote.
Vile mnajua nimepewa uhamisho kutoka idara ya afya kwenda idara ya maji. Leo iko ni siku yangu ya mwisho katika idara ya afya, na nisikitiko kwamba tumeona wale wafanyikazi wetu wa afya wanagoma jinsi wamefanya siku ya leo. Mambo ambayo wanazungumzia ni mambo ambayo tumekuwa tukiyakabili kwa muda mrefu, na tuko tumefikia wakati sasa wa kutimiza malengo yao. Mambo ya kandarasi ya mwaka mmoja tushapanga na bodi inayohusika, na kwa hivyo tunangoja barua zao zianze kutolewa.
Now to Kirinyaga County, the County Assembly Speaker Muteti Murimi has affirmed their solid support for the government and its agendas, stating that any personal issues with the government should not be linked to the entire country. Here is the report.
Kama uko na shinda na serikali ya Uhuru ya William Ruto, that is your problem. It is not a Mount Kenya problem, sivyo? Tusipotee njia watu wetu. We cannot afford to be the opposition. And I can tell you for free, tutafanya kazi kama viongozi usiku na mchana mpaka tuweze kubadilisha Kenya. Mtatusikiria? Sikiria serikali ya William Ruto, because sisi wote we are one unitary state. Tulikuja kutatafuta kura, tukawaahidi ile mambo tutawafanyia. Na sasa kwa hii miaka 5, our only agenda ni kutimiza the promises that we gave you. Na hapa Kirinyaga, that is our agenda for the next 5 years. Na mimi nataka kuhakikishia, tulikuja hapa na President William Ruto, tukasign a memorandum na watu wa Kirinyaga through the Economic Forum. Tukasema we are going to transform the lives of our people through empowerment. Na hiyo ndiyo kazi tunafanya. Na nataka kuomba viongozi, Hii serikali tulichukua tukijua ilikuwa ICU. Tumeweza kutoka ICU tukafika mahali inaitwa General Ward. Na hii ni safari lazima tutimize. Na wewe kama uko na shida kwa serikali, mambo yenye tuko na shida kwa serikali, we need to sort it internally. Sio kwenda kulilia wananchi. Wananchi watataka kujua bei ya kahawa itaongezeka lini. Bei ya maziwa itaongezeka lini. Bei ya makandamia itaongezeka lini. Pesa itafika kwa mfuko wakati mgani. Na ndio hiyo mambo yenye tunafanya. So wewe kama uko na shida ya serikali, sisi we are candid enough to say we are on course and we are not going to disappoint the people of Kenya. Ukitaka kuondoka kwa serikali, uondoke peke yako. Sisi tunabaki hapa mpaka tutimize zile ahadi tulipea watu wa Kirinyaga.
Now we have come to the end of today's bulletin, and in the words of Aristotle, it is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. I am Jesicah Adiang. Good afternoon.